Hey everybody, this is Everything Cranberries, and today I'm gonna make a tier list of my favorite Cranberries and solo project albums. So I decided to put some of Dolores solo albums, mono bands, Fergal Lawler, Dark, because if I put only the Cranberries albums, almost all will be here, certified banger, because almost all are amazing. So have more albums is greater, I think, in my opinion. So the first one here is the Uncertain EP. I know there's no any album called Uncertain, but here I think of all of their songs made before they signed to Island Records, or I mean, the first EPs like Water Circle and Uncertain, they EPs before they joined some big records. And I think I could put here Good Bro, because there are some songs that are not that well made as they would be in the first album. I mean, Linger demo version or Dreams demo version are not as good as here, or Sunday, Magnetic Senses, the best versions are here on this album. The heavy producer makes the songs sound better. But yeah, that's a good album. I actually like their demo songs. So after we have here everybody else is doing it, so why can't we? It's an amazing album. I really love this album to death. It has some great Celtic sounds, some really Irish folk sounds here that I love, and I know you love too. I need to put it here because it's one of the best albums from the 80s. And right after we have the album No Need to Argue, which I don't know how it does that, but it can be even better than its predecessor. It's an amazing album too. Here we have All to My Family, which is beautiful. We have, of course, Zombie, which is really famous, but we have two ridiculous thoughts like No Need to Argue, The Full Melody. It's a beautiful album too. And here we have the 96 album To the Faithful Departed, which is a great album too. I will put here. And here is my personally favorite album by Cranberries, Bury the Hatchet, which is an album that Dolores recorded after, well, almost 1 year, actually, a little more than 1 year, getting away from screens or for shows. She went with her husband to a farm in countryside, and they lived for 1 year there. She made therapy. She had a son, and a lot of her experiences are they told here. She talks a lot about the abuses she suffered in her life. She talks a lot about having her first son, and man, the lyrics are touching. If you don't cry listening to Die in the Sun, you don't have a heart. I'm sorry to tell you. But this album, it's, I think, one of the greatest albums ever made by a human being. I am not kidding. I am not exaggerating. This is, if you haven't heard yet, if you like the comparison and haven't heard the full album, Bird the Hatchet, you must hear it. So after we have their last album before the breakup, which is Wake Up and Smell the Coffee, and it's a great album, but not as good as those that are here. I would put it under here, but it's better than their demo records. It's a good album too, but it's not as good as their four masterpieces. So after that, we have their solo careers, right? And the first one to release a solo album was Noel Hogan under the name of Mono Bands, which they released only one album in 2005. It's a good album too, but I would put it right here. Oh, it doesn't have Dolores, but yeah, it's a good alternative rock album. And then we have the two Dolores solo albums, which I love too. Their first solo album is right here. And man, I love this solo album. It's from 2007, and I think it's an amazing album too. And her second solo album is not as good as the first one, 2009, but it's a good album too. I really like her two solo albums. I think they are great. So we have After Roses, which mostly was records in 2003, after their final album before the breakup. But after they coming back in 2009, they record some new songs and remixed the album, and the result, I think personally, it's not as good as what they recorded before. I think that one I put in would put in meh okay, because man, there are so many feeders here. It's so much folk acoustic album that doesn't really matches with the rest of the discography. I don't like Roses that much. And then we have Dark, which is a band that Dolores made formed with the Smiths bass player, and both actually are dying. So the band doesn't exist anymore since a long time ago. But I don't like this album that much too, because I don't know, the synths here doesn't sound good to me, and the voice of the other guy who sings here, which I said I don't remember his name. He's Russian, I think. It's not. I don't like it. I simply don't like it. I would put in lane here. And then we have this album that's basically re-recording of famous Cranberry songs in acoustic and symphonic style, which is man, I'm in between here and here, but I would put in good. It's a good album, okay, it's a good album. And then we have the final album that Dolores recorded before she passed away, which is one of my favorite albums by Cranberries. I think it's a beautiful album too, which is in the end. If you don't cry, we listen to the ends. You also don't have a heart. And I would put it here right after their debut album. And this one is an album issued by Fergal Lawler in his solo career in 2022. It's the last album by any of Cranberries members, and I think it's a good album too. I would put it really here, even I think before their demo records. So this is what I would put as a tier list by Cranberries. I hope you like this video. So don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. Bye bye.